My name is Astrit Ismaili. I am from Kosovo. I grew up there. I grew up in Pristina, but I'm currently living in Amsterdam since 9 years now. I am a performance artist generally, but I work between different mediums. But what is always present in my practice is the body. I try to explore its transformational potential through wearable musical instruments and body extensions and alter egos. And in this way, I'm interested in extending the notion of the body and how it's perceived in the contemporary society beyond the expectations and beyond the traditional conventional norms. In my practice, voice is as well a very important element. The singing voice and its transcending qualities, but also its political position and representation. I'm interested in voices that manage to persevere despite all the odds. And I'm interested in this moment of resilience, and I want to bring voices of underrepresented communities and individuals or subjects that we don't hear so often.
Life is really short, so be part of.
Right now, I'm working on a film which is called The First Flower, and it focuses on the first flower on Earth and its transformation. And it focuses on this moment when this plant decided to become a flower. The first flower is morphing into a character in the early 2000s in Kosovo who's a queer person. So both the first flower and Siki, this character, are going through this transformation, and the film is kind of like following this transformation and the merging of these two worlds. This project is actually a part of a larger cycle of works which came from a performance work called Miss, in which through performance 3 different references, fictional, historical, are embodied, and those are the first flower on Earth, Cicciolina, and Miss Kosovo. Through this project, I started researching on this notion that became very present in my practice, which is creative under limitation, from which I'm interested in finding different references that have to overcome a certain type of a limitation, whether that is a geopolitical one or a physical one. And through being creative, they overcome the limitation and sometimes also manage to do something that didn't exist before. Basically, I came to this idea while researching on evolution of plants into flowering plants, when I found out that flowers didn't exist for a long time, and because they cannot move, their mobility is limited. I think performance as a practice is actually quite an ancient practice, and there are a lot of ceremonies and performances which have happened around me while growing up, and these moments of gathering and being and witnessing a ritual, I was very curious about them. So when I started doing performance, I was like, oh, well, actually what I'm doing is maybe in a different scene, but as a practice is very similar to what people have been doing for many, many years. I just thought these practices are so special and unique. I found about these practices by chance, and they actually need to have some sort of archival strategy to protect and preserve these practices. So through my work, I actually just bring this to the forefront, and maybe some anthropologist or can do some more research and try to preserve these practices, which are very beautiful. I love Marseille. I feel very close to the sea and the good weather. It's a way of living that I can totally relate to. What I find interesting about Marseille and cities like Marseille is that this urgency for a change, and I feel like in spaces like Marseille and Pristina, there's still a lot of things to do, and that is an energy which is very inspiring, and because it makes it feel there is always something to do, and what you do may be important. But actually what inspires me the most here is the brutalist architecture. Also in my work, I work with materials like concrete, and for me just to be here and just like breathe that air and just think, that is already kind of like a direct and indirect inspiration.